It was a very eventful day, 15th February 2021. It was the day earmarked for the send-off of a great son of Kenya, the late Simeon Nyachae. But even as most of our leaders turned up at the send-off, news trickled in of the passing on of Senator Yusuf Haji. At the age of 81, 8 years younger than the late Nyachae. But even before the Nyachae function started, there was drama when the Kisii Deputy Governor, Bwana Joash Mangi, and South Mugirango legislator, Sylvanus Osoro, who became famous recently. You remember why? The incident with Simba Arati. And information trickled in that the two had been taken in for questioning over suspicion that they were organizing a disruption at the Simeon Nyachae send-off. That story is still developing as I make this recording. But on my show tonight, I focus on the life of Simeon Nyachae, an unsung hero of the country called Kenya. An honest man and a man who loved country music, but also a man who witnessed all the transitions of power in Kenya since independence, and therefore had a lot of information, most of which he went to the grave with, because he was a principled man in the job he ended up making his lifelong career. And although at the send-off there was no controversial politics, there were politicians there, and therefore there was also plenty of politics, which I'll highlight in this show. Karibu sana, and as usual, enjoy. We Kenyans have the very sad habit of treating the great sons of the land shoddily. But at least we tend to remember at their funerals, their final send-offs, we tend to remember. And we tend to give great detail of what we have forgotten to echo when they were still alive. We give honor, at least, when they're already gone, that we should have given when they were still with us. But I guess better very late in the day than never. Simeon Nyachae was indeed a great son of Kenya. And it warms my heart that although there was plenty of politics at his send-off, there was actually very little or no politics by Kenyan standards. There was no Team Tangatanga versus Team Keleweke showdown. It warms my heart very much that at Simeon Nyachae's final send-off, we didn't have any of that nonsensical politics. Some would want to say that the spirit of the man ruled his final function. Because he was a disciplined man. He was a man of order and discipline. But in my opinion, the biggest take-home from his long eulogy is that Bwana Nyachae was a man who understood how to handle authority. And he was also a very honest man. Usually, those two qualities go together. And maybe it is because he was this kind of a man that he did not enjoy more political prominence than he did. And indeed he deserved to enjoy much more political authority than he managed to by the end of his life. Yes, he was Chief Cabinet Secretary under Moi. Yes, he was a cabinet minister in various very senior portfolios. But in my opinion, Simeon Nyachae would have made a great president of Kenya. But alas, the odds were against him. And maybe also he did not come from the right tribe. How sad. This actually should be a wake-up call for us left behind, that we must urgently correct our politics and the kind of people we elect into political office. We must look for people of integrity, like the late Nyachae. I believe Gideon Moi, in his remarks, put it best. He said that Nyachae's life was proof that it is possible in Kenya to make it. It is possible in Kenya to become rich without stealing and without corruption. And if anybody doubts it, Bwana Gideon Moi said, they should refer to the life of Simeon Nyachae. Because from selling bread on a bicycle, part-time, even as he worked in government, he rose to be a very prosperous businessman with interests that cover virtually the whole country. As I keep on saying on this channel and emphasizing, the character of a man. Oh God Almighty, help us to always emphasize on the character of a man. To be accurate and factual, Nyachae was a very wealthy man, and a large chunk of his wealth he made through hard work. And then another large chunk of his wealth he got through inheritance, because he also hailed from a family of means, as we say in Kenya. And we can also add that we know many Kenyan families where people inherit from the rich parents, and all we see in the newspapers are court cases, fights, over that which their parents left them. The character of a man. Now, my late political lecturer used to admire Nyachae, but only for one thing, his courage. According to my dad, during the October 25th, 1969 Kisumu massacre, Simeon Nyachae was present. I believe he was PC in Nakuru. Therefore it's a bit strange what he was doing in Kisumu. But he was there. And when bullets were flying all over the place, people taking cover, it is only Simeon Nyachae who was able to stand up and appeal for calm. He was not very successful, but at least he was the only person who dared approach the microphone and dared to try. And for that, my late political lecturer always admired the man's courage. At his send-off today, I believe the remarks which caught the attention of the vast majority of Kenyans were those of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka reminded Kenyans of that time in the year 2002 when all the opposition leaders met at Serena Hotel and signed a coalition agreement, which was put together by lawyers. And one of the things stated in that agreement is that they would all have to sit down together and decide who amongst them was going to face the KANU candidate at that time, Uhuru Kenyatta. And all this was happening at 10 a.m. at the Serena Hotel, a stone's throw from Uhuru Park, where at 4 p.m. on the same day, Raila Odinga uttered the famous words, Kibaki Tosha, which was a violation of the agreement signed that morning. And when Kalonzo Musyoka brought this up in his remarks, I was very fascinated by the look on the face of Raila Odinga, which I believe you can see on your screens right now. A very telling look, in my view. This is the reason why people say a picture is worth 1,000 words, because I believe you can use more than 1,000 words to describe that expression. But of course, Raila Odinga went on to explain, when he had a chance to make his remarks, that he realized that there was going to be a deadlock and KANU had to be removed from power. And therefore, he took it upon himself to utter those famous words and go against an agreement he had appended his signature to. Now, this is very relevant because this Raila action greatly angered the late Nyachae. He was furious and he immediately withdrew his party, Ford People, from the coalition of the opposition at that time. And he ran for the presidency alone, on a Ford People ticket, and ended up with slightly over 345,000 votes. Votes which, in my view, were a great injustice to this great son of Kenya. And of course, this great injustice was brought about by something we really value in our politics, that we shouldn't value at all, called tribalism. Because if the late Nyachae belonged to a community with huge numbers, we would be talking a different story. And so Kenyans really need to sober up and ask themselves the question. We cry every day for leaders of integrity, but will we keep on frustrating very viable candidates, very viable characters of great Kenyans, just because they don't have the tribal numbers? Is it possible, in honor of this great Kenyan, to change our politics so that we do not look at the tribe of a man, but instead look at the character of a man? And especially the character of men who do not have the tribal numbers to be serious contenders, but have the character to change our country, to make Kenya a better place. It is instructive that the late Nyachae had the biggest break of his life, not because of his tribe, but because of his performance on duty. Because as we were told at the funeral, the late Tom Mboya, who was a cabinet minister, appointed Nyachae in charge of Kenya's first 12th December celebrations of 1964, the day Kenya became a republic. Kenya gained her independence in 1963, same date, 12th December, but it was 1964 that Kenya became a republic. On that same date, and Nyachae did such a great job that he attracted the attention of Kenya's first president, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, who asked to meet him personally, and then shortly after that, appointed him the first provincial commissioner of Nairobi. And as destiny would have it, Nyachae ended up witnessing 3 other transitions in the country. From Jomo Kenyatta to Daniel Arap Moi, number 1, and then from Moi to Kibaki, number 2, and finally, from very close range, as we discover today, the transition from Kibaki to President Uhuru Kenyatta. I believe the man has carried to his grave many shocking secrets of the country called Kenya. And of course, it was because he was a very principled civil servant. A civil servant is not a politician. A civil servant, a genuine one, will always strive to portray the government he serves in good light. Of course, Bwana Nyachae later on became a politician, but in my view, he was so well trained and he sank so deeply into the British civil service training he underwent, which put an emphasis on principles, so much so that he always remained that faithful, loyal, principled civil servant. In my view, Kenya is a better place because Simeon Nyachae was born and lived in our motherland. Thank you so much, the Abagusi community, for giving us this great son of Kenya. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.